And then he would take like lit videos of me. I posted to Instagram videos. And people would be like, yo, who's your videographer, man? That's pretty lit. And then I asked him, yo, are you sure you don't want to be like a videographer instead of a DJ?
And that started worrying me because he started focusing on how good I do.
You were good, man.
I was also good at PR, sales and stuff like that. You know, like I was great with the customers, so with the clients, right? And everything but the actual craft of DJing. And he's like, man, I could really use you. And I said, you know what? I'll do all of that stuff for you, but don't forget that I'm with you because I want to learn. And that's already when we start becoming closer friends. Yeah. So we're kind of like jumping ahead. Welcome to the Clever DJ Podcast with ILIA and
Nino. So welcome, guys. This is our first ever episode of our Clever DJ Podcast. Hope you guys are going to enjoy our journey, and we're going to introduce ourselves right now.
Yes. So I think it's fair to start with what this podcast is all about. Just for you who don't know us, which is pretty much everyone, just so you see if you actually want to stick around, which I'm sure you will. If you're a DJ, an aspiring DJ, even a pro, and that's what it's all about. So I'm a beginner DJ. I started DJing about, I would say, a year and a half ago. And Nino?
I've been a professional for a while now. I'd rather not say, a couple of decades, but yeah, I've been a professional now for a while, and that's the goal of this podcast, is to show the point of view of a beginner and a professional, right?
Yes. We've listened to quite a few podcasts. We've seen the most popular ones online, and nothing really touches on DJing from this point of view. Now, you know, we appreciate everything that we see online. I mean, there's so many good ones that I'm sure everyone here knows.
This concept is special,
though,
right? We have a unique chemistry between each other. We're friends now.
Yes.
Right?
And that's what made it so much better, because it just gave it such a nice spin. So let's start. How did we meet? Let's start from that, because that's really where everything started, right?
Bro, you tell me. You say this story all the time, and it's really special for you because you're so sentimental about it.
I am, because the way I see it, my whole life I wanted to be a musician, and I play the guitar, I play the piano, I sing. None of those things are, you know, on an ultimate professional level, but you know, I do well for myself. And like many of you, I have a 9-to-5 job. Lucky for me, I work from home. I appreciate my job. It really allows me to achieve so many things that I want to do, you know, after work. But still, I have a dream. And my dream is to be a musician for a living, and not one who is going to then say, man, I ruined my hobby. Now it's not fun anymore. Something that I would really appreciate still, even though I'm doing it every day for work. And I discovered that DJing is one of those things. So when I met Nino, I did whatever I could to make this happen, because I noticed it, I recognized it. And there's this like quote online. It goes something like that: if you want to learn something specific, and you know, if you want to learn something specific, usually a trade, or you know, something like DJing, or find someone who's professional at it, and offer them your time. Offer them 3 months, 4 months, 6 months of your time, and say, I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you all of me for that timeline. And at the end, if you feel like you could hire me, then you know, we'll shake on it, and we'll start some sort of a deal. If not, we'll shake hands, and we'll go our separate ways.
All right.
Again, I'm trying to remember the actual quote, but it's pretty much a very, very known concept. And I've learned a lot of different things doing just that, finding someone who's good at something, volunteering myself for an X amount of weeks or months, and then either sticking with them or, thanking them for their time and the experience, and then starting my own thing.
Yeah. So basically how we met is I was DJing at a venue that he was bartending at. So this guy has like 10 jobs, right? This guy does a regular 9-to-5 job. He bartends, and then what else do you do?
I was a waiter. I was a bartender. I was building websites. In between, I just
newspapers.
That's one thing I actually never did.
Basically he was bartending and at the venue that I was DJing at. And it was a really special venue because, the client actually was special because they wanted more rock. And it was really out of my element. I've never really focused and done a rock wedding. So, it was really different. And this guy, while I was setting up, he approached me. And what did you say, man?
So the first thing I said, I'm a bartender. Hey, would you like a drink? I can make you. And I started just listing all the kinds of alcoholic beverages, thinking this guy's a DJ, probably wants to party, right?
But then I don't drink really. So
yeah, rarely, especially on the job.
Yeah. I try to stay professional.
Yes, and down the road we'll speak about that as well. And really, you shouldn't be drinking when you're DJing or even eating more than just a couple bites here and there. You're there to DJ. You're not there to be really doing anything else. And you got to stay in your element. But I said, okay, how about a couple virgin drinks, some cocktail, something interesting I can make for you. And I was losing him. And I said, how about Coke? Do you drink Coke?
And I said, yeah, just to get rid of this guy. Because, again, I was doing a rock wedding and I was still preparing my playlist and what to play. Totally out of my element. He was bothering me while I was setting up. I was like, yo, man, yeah, give me a Coke. So, yeah.
You do like Coke. So
I do.
I remember feeling that I'm bothering him, because the thing is, whenever you see a contractor at a wedding, they're already busy. They show up at that time because they either need that time to prepare or they have a reason why they're there early, but they're already busy. And so I knew he's going to be busy, but I was trying to find the best time to approach him.
This guy was on a mission to talk to me.
I was on a mission.
And I'm not your first, which hurts me.
You're not my first. I approached a couple other DJs. There were very select few, maybe a handful that I approached. I've had a couple mentors in the past. With one or two of them, I remained fairly close friends. Even worked a couple gigs with them since then. But we're kind of mixing up the timeline here. So it never really went somewhere, right? I went to a couple of gigs with this one guy. It was fun. I got a taste of it, and then I just went back to work and for a few years, and then I met this guy while I was bartending.
Yeah.
Now
he brought me like 10 Cokes that night.
I brought him more than just several drinks. I brought him 8, 9, 10
I've
Cokes.
never had so many Cokes in my life.
I was trying to find any reason to speak to him. So on the first or second approach, I told him, hey, so because I need to get this going, right? Hey, I would love to learn how to DJ, and I've been trying, and I just don't really get it. I need somebody to actually show me the craft, teach me the ropes, and if you could do that, I can help you out, because I'm a hobbyist producer, music producer. And that caught your attention.
It caught my attention. Well, I've always been wanting to dabble into production and stuff, but I'm busy with DJing. But I thought to myself, maybe this guy can actually help me out, because a lot of DJs approach me just to want to learn from, right? So I'm like, maybe we can do something. So I actually took your number down, or you gave me your number.
Yeah, one way or another. Actually, I have the texts here. He thinks I'm so sentimental.
This guy,
I just didn't delete them.
This guy remembers down to the the time, the date, the second.
I'm gonna find it.
This guy's hilarious, man.
You're flattering yourself a bit too much, but
come on, man. No, I'm not.
no, I am.
You're for real.
I am.
This guy records everything. He takes
I'm
pictures.
always with my camera somewhere. I like documenting things. I always wanted to be a content creator. I always wanted to be like a YouTuber or something, right? Because I love recording things. I love commenting on things, and I never really found my purpose with that skill. And somehow everything just fell into the right place with this guy. So that was August 29th, 2021, just so you get the timeline, right?
That was that wedding. And I killed that wedding, right?
You did. It was a Sunday wedding.
It was a Sunday wedding. Think about that. They didn't want to go home.
You wouldn't be able to tell it's a Sunday wedding because it was, 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
And the Sunday weddings there end before 1 a.m. usually. Pretty much like 20% of the people are left, if that, right? The party animals. And then, yeah. So the staff was actually, I remember them saying they were wondering when is it going to end because they all wanted to go home because the following day.
It's a Sunday, man. Everybody wants to go home.
Yeah, but I was loving it. So here I am, like 7:21 p.m. I messaged you my name, and I know that was a busy time because now, like understanding the job, I know what I was doing when I was interrupting you. But that was it. So just to make this really short, because again, you don't know us very well yet, and while this is interesting to us, it may not be interesting to you. So we'll try to keep it short, and down the road, if anyone wants to know any more details, which we'll be happy to tell, we'll
bring this up again in the future in other episodes for sure.
Most importantly, 8 months later on April.
8 months later. So this is a situation. It just got busier. Like I booked, I think it was 250 weddings that year for 2022. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need another DJ. I need help. Because I already had DJs, right? But a lot of them had their own gigs, and a lot of them were already booked. I already booked them already. So I still had some slots open. So I was like thinking to myself, what am I going to do? And then I don't know why. I thought of this guy. This guy really made an impression on me.
Lucky for you, man.
All the cokes got to my head for sure, man. So I actually texted him one day. And then what did I say? He has it.
I have everything here.
He kept everything.
Well, just so you know, I don't periodically go over my texts and delete them. So the phone is still the same phone, so it's still here. But I would keep it because this was an important moment to me. That was the moment where I kind of tore myself away from the 9 to 5. Not in a way that I quit or anything like that, but I was now starting my journey on becoming an entrepreneur in an industry which I really enjoy.
Yes.
I really appreciate my job. I'm not going to talk about what I do exactly. I work from home. I have a great job. I have a great team and everything. And it's just, at the end of the day, it's something that a lot of people don't actually, in their childhood thinking, oh, that's what I'll do for a living. That's my dream. So, I'm a musician and I wanted to do something in music. So as soon as I recognized this opportunity,
this guy dropped everything at that moment.
He texts me, hey bro, how are you? I don't know if you remember me, but I remembered him. But I met you last year when I DJ'd a wedding.
Oh, by the way, we're a GTA DJ, so this is a GTA podcast
yes.
from Toronto, Canada.
Yes.
Represent Toronto. The 6.
So we welcome everyone, but if you are from Toronto, Canada, you'll pick up a lot of the locations we're talking about and stuff. We're all over the place. We go up north, and south, east, and west. We're everywhere. But so he says, my name is Nino, DJ9. Are you still interested in DJing and learning? And like we said, I dropped everything in that moment. I took a break from work because I still had a pending break. I was like, I'll take it later. I get this text. I'm like, yes, break. And I say, hey, brother, of course I remember. Yes. I'm very interested. And you're asking me what I'm doing these days, working. And then I just explained what my schedule was, which was insane. I don't remember how many hours in 1 week, but I was working, no word of a lie, some weeks close to 110 hours, sometimes more. I would sleep 2 to 3 hours a night sometimes. And that was because I was making great money as a bartender or a waiter. I then became a head bartender, so I couldn't be a waiter anymore almost ever because they liked me as a bartender. And yeah, and then I had my full-time job. I was blessed with lots of overtime hours, and I had like other small ventures. I was building websites. I was just doing whatever I could to make
10
more
jobs.
money.
This guy got 10 jobs. Yeah.
So, and I was telling him my schedule, and he's like, yeah, you're busy, huh? So, without getting into too much detail with the texts here, he offered me to, I pretty much noticed.
Wait. I actually asked you to come over, right?
Let's see if you really want to, let's see, busy. Oh, what equipment do you own? And that's something that we went over, actually.
That's true. Oh, actually, at that wedding that I did, I was using the SB3, the Pioneer DDJ SB3, and I asked him, "Do you own any DJ equipment?" And he said he owns the SB2, which was the one lower than mine. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Since he had DJ equipment, I was like thinking, okay, maybe this guy can actually DJ. So what did I do? I actually offered you a gig.
Yes, unbeknownst to Nino, I don't know how, because I made sure that I don't fake it till I make it. I told him right away, I'm not. I need you to teach me the ropes, but certain things.
Well, certain things like because you have the DDJ SB2, I figured, okay, this guy must know something because he already owns the equipment.
He just needs direction.
Yeah. So I figured, okay, maybe he knows how to play stuff. And then the gig that I was sending him to, it was pretty simple. Right. And it was literally just to play some music, and
I would do it so well today.
Yeah. Well, now, right?
Yeah. He offered me that one. I think we were trying to think about it earlier. I think there was maybe one more thing where he wanted me to just replace him for a couple hours between gigs, because he had a ton of gigs that year, because all the COVID postponed weddings, just everything at once, and all the new ones as well.
So it all just compounded and stuff. So many events.
Yes. So what happened was, I think I just checked the messages. We started a phone call, and it was a long phone call. And
so I offered him a gig, and then I don't know what I was thinking. Thinking that he could totally DJ.
And I was really careful telling him, I didn't want him to, you don't say no to something like this. You always say yes at an interview, at most of them at least. But I knew it. If I take this gig, it's probably the last one I'll get from this guy. Plus, I actually genuinely care about the client, because I'm thinking to myself about all the great DJs I had in my events. And luckily, I think all of them to this day were great DJs in my personal events, my family and everyone. And you don't want people to be disappointed with their night because you messed it up, right? It's important. There's it's a wedding or a birthday, it doesn't matter. It's an important event. So I cared about his business and about my image and about the client. And he understood that I can't really do it, but he decided to take me to a gig with him to see who am I working with.
Yeah, so I took him to a gig. I think it was like a christening or whatever, and then he didn't really get on the decks or anything, but he helped me set up, and it was really good with the taking photos and videos and stuff. So I was like, okay, good. Okay, this he's showing value, right? So,
and that was my mission. I was saying to myself, I'm gonna make sure that he's gonna want to take me to every gig going forward, because this is insane. In terms of value, if any of you are beginner DJs, imagine that somebody's gonna take you under, teach you everything, all for free, and show you how to use pro equipment, and then also he also has beginner equipment. So literally a plethora of things that you would never have access to until down the road if you made it as a DJ, or they started making as a DJ. And then, being in live events, dealing with clients, I got a truly hands-on experience, and an amazing one also. So it meant a lot to me. So I set up everything
So
for him.
he did everything like he could, right? He couldn't really DJ yet, and I wouldn't let him on a decks, not yet, because I know he couldn't really do anything.
I think I proved that.
but he literally would set the stuff, like my equipment up, like how I would want it set up, and it was really hard, like because I'm particular with how I set things up, and he would pay attention to how I would do it. And he would do it. I'm like, whoa, okay, this guy is pretty good. And then he would take like lit videos of me. I posted to Instagram, and people would be like, yo, who's your videographer, man? That's pretty lit. And then I asked him, yo, are you sure you don't want to be like a videographer instead of a DJ?
And that started worrying me because he started focusing on how good I do.
You were good, man.
I was also good at PR, sales, and stuff like that. I was great with the customers, so with the clients, right? And everything but the actual craft of DJing. And he's like, man, I could really use you. And I said, you know what? I'll do all of that stuff for you, but don't forget that I'm with you because I want to learn. And that's already when we start becoming closer friends.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like jumping ahead.
So, but in the long run, I brought him to like 30 gigs.
At least 30 or 40 gigs.
It felt like 100.
It felt like 100.
Honestly.
More.
I took him to gigs.
Everywhere.
He would help me set up. He would take videos and all the time. And then he became close. Our humor would kind of like, we'd get along,
we just
right?
clicked.
We just clicked, and we had this kind of like banter that, hey, man.
Before that, I was super careful not to be myself. For the first 2 or 3 gigs, because I'm a joker. Like I make jokes, I make funny things happen, and
that's the thing. You're my jester. You make me laugh during gigs, and then he would bring me food when I want. He would bring me drinks. I'm like, okay, this is not bad. This is not a bad setup.
Free personal assistant, and I'm thinking this is not bad. This guy's teaching me for free. Wow. So
it kind of worked out in the end, and then it took him a little longer to learn how to DJ, but
yeah, because and that's another thing we were going to discuss later, the commitment level, what's required to become a DJ, and a lot of different things that fall into the same kind of category of industries, like skills. This is not something you can just pick up just on the spot, because by doing it 5 minutes here, an hour there, being inconsistent, unless you're just a natural.
Yeah.
And between my full-time job and my overtime and my bartending and everything, it was hard. You only have 100% of your time. So no matter what it is and how well you can multitask, you have 100%. And that was taking a big chunk of my time. So I told myself, if I don't say goodbye to all this money and all this time that's being occupied and put that time into DJing, this is not going to happen. This guy's going to drop me.
Yeah. But it worked out. He showed value in other ways, and he finally got the hang of it. How long did it take you?
So I'm happy you said that, because I started noticing how he started taking me to gigs less and less, and I'm like, oh shoot, this guy's gonna replace me. And I was actually, and this guy knew how I was feeling.
I already knew.
I asked him later. He's like, yeah, I knew you were probably like nervous, right?
But I had to do it, bro.
Yeah,
I had to do it.
Partly it was because they actually had someone else to train, and partly it was because I wasn't getting it.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, okay, this train is about to leave. I gotta do something significant. I decided to take a course, and that was for 2 main reasons. First of all, I did not feel like I was progressing properly at the correct speed. And second, I did not want this guy to drop me because I wanted to make sure that I make a good impression and that I look like somebody who actually wants to do this and is not just taking this opportunity for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to not get into too many fine details, the course was great because I made it great. If you didn't put a lot of work into the course, like on your own, for example, practice at home, build connections, ask the right questions, then you wouldn't get as much from it. But I did whatever I could. The way I was with Nino, I was with the instructor there. I asked the right questions, and I took as much as I could from that experience. And I even started like a Toronto EDM community, and I learned a lot in the following 6 to 9 months. And it was with them, different interesting gigs that we booked, and we collaborated with different DJs. And I just, I became more serious to the point where I was practicing at home more frequently. I started working with another DJ who I went to a couple of gigs with, and while Nino was training a couple other guys, and that led us to the same point again, where he tells me, you gotta put yourself out there. So you're better now. You're gonna be okay. Get gigs.
Yeah, I told him there's only so much I can teach you. You have to actually get gigs so you can deal with clients, you can deal with setup, everything that has to do behind the scenes, and that I was dealing with. But you were with me, but you weren't really dealing with them personally yourself, and you would learn so much more if you would deal with it by yourself on your own.
Yes, and I decided to put myself out there. I created a couple nice ads. I got some more footage at that point, and I got another gig just before that from one of my older friends who mentored me for a couple months, and I felt like I'm ready. So that's as ready as I'm gonna get. I gotta do this, and hopefully I don't crash and burn. And if I do, I'll learn from it. My first gig, on my own. I got everything by myself. I dealt with the client by myself. I went there by myself. I did everything on my own, and I came back, and it was just an enlightening experience. That was September, I think the first week or second week of September. It was a 30th party at a party room. Then the next one was a Sweet 16. That was already October. So one gig in September, one gig in October, and then he gave me a gig in October. It was a Halloween gig for an elementary school who wanted me back. And then November I had no gigs, and then December I had the corporate Christmas party, and then you gave me a really good gig, which really changed everything for me. Mm-hmm. My last gig just opened up my eyes, and it's so hard to explain right now in just a couple words. So I'm just not going to get into too many details right now, because this is just an intro episode. But it really showed me all the things that this guy was talking about.
And I'm always right, man. I tell you all the time to listen to me. And, I know people have to go through things the hard way. And he kind of had to go through things the hard way.
I had to really understand it on my own.
He had to understand that I was always right. Because I am always right.
Okay, you're always right. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I know.
But he was right. And even though, I knew on some level that, I have to do gigs, I thought maybe there's another way. But I knew that there's probably no other way. I got to do it. And it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be, because I got some more experience in between. I did have another gig with another, semi-professional DJ who came with me to another gig where I used to actually work as a bartender / waiter. That's another funny story, which again we will note and we'll talk about, and it will be a great experience for everyone. But I got all these gigs, and I am now at a point where I have my own business. I have clients. People are calling me. I'm getting paid regularly. I finally started my career, and I have a lot to thank you for this.
Thank you. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. I like to push it forward and just to teach people. It gives me great pleasure. To teach.
I remember sitting there in your chair like, is he ever gonna get it?
Those were the days, man. I'm like, man, is this guy ever gonna get it? And it took a while, but he eventually got it.
A lot of adjusting.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of adjusting, and
that's basically how we got together, and now we're here talking to you guys.
And without getting into too many details about that process and everything, we just wanted to tell you kind of what the journey was like. And And we can go into detail later if any of you wants to hear about this, and we'll pick up on what you guys want to listen to.
You guys want to hear this
and want to watch.
We have some funny stories and stuff.
We do.
Of everything that we've gone through. So I hope you guys join us on this journey, because we're happy to share everything with you guys, our experiences and my knowledge, as well as his point of view of everything that he's going through in terms of DJing.
Yes, and there'll be a couple ways to actually join our podcast. It's going to be audio only on all the platforms, but then on YouTube, we'll have a video version of it, which is where you're watching it right now. This is just going to give people an opportunity to pick what they prefer, and the reason why we also have a video version is because we feel like we can connect with you better if you watch us. And there are certain things we'll have to show you. We'll have obviously weekly episodes. We're still not sure what day the episodes will be on, but you'll pick up on it when you see when it's getting posted. We'll have live sessions. We'll start having those maybe on the first, maybe on the second month. We'll see when we have those. But those live sessions will be mainly for giveaways and some other sort of contests or challenges or certain things we'll do where live makes sense.
In the future, we're going to have interviews, like guest interviews, like DJs, people in the industry that are related to the industry. So yeah, it's going to be very informative, very fun to listen to too.
Yeah, we'll have different, like I said, challenges. You mentioned interviews, giveaways, and there's just so much to come. And we're very excited. We've been talking about it.
Yeah. And it's a banter type of podcast. So we're going to be like talking, everything's off the top of the head. So we're not, nothing's scripted.
Very minorly edited.
Yeah.
Not edited at all, pretty much, as far as we know at this point. Our camera overheated 3 times, so there will be a point where it's gonna like snap. Well,
no,
already happened.
It's good for now, but yeah.
But
it took us this much to get to this point, man. So we're pretty much done our first.
We've been through
episode.
a lot.
We have. But we're glad to start this journey with you guys. We're excited. And a lot more to come.
A lot more to come. Thank you very much for joining our first episode of the Clever DJ podcast. Thank you, everyone. Stay clever.
Yeah, we did it, bro. Let's go.